Well, we are in Galesburg, actually, like just on the outskirts.
Yeah.
There's the "Welcome to Galesburg" sign, like right outside of the
Right
place.
there.
We are here at the newest brewery. It is Knox County Brewing. This is Matthew Hansen. You are the brewer here. You're
am.
one of the owners.
Yep.
You and your wife run the place.
We do indeed.
I have a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Obviously, and
Shoot.
I hope you're prepared for these.
I hope so too.
First of all, Matthew, what were you doing before Knox County Brewing? This place has been open for a couple of months now, right?
We've been open 3 months as of last week.
Okay.
We come from a very different world. I'm from Austin, Texas. And in Austin, Texas, I worked in the nonprofit sector. I started nonprofits. That's kind of what I did. We also planted churches. So that's what we did for 15 years. And then after 15 years living in downtown Austin, we needed a break. And so my wife's family is from this area. And so we just kind of walked out of everything we were doing, which was great, and came here and kind of fell off the map for a little bit.
You ever think about calling this place Galesburg City Limits? I mean, you are right on the city limits.
I'm right on the city limits.
Yeah,
this
right.
is true.
You've had enough of that with the Austin and everything. That's where I'm going with that. So from nonprofit to a brewery, and if you don't know what you're doing, a brewery can very quickly turn into a nonprofit.
It can.
That's not the case right now, though.
It's not the case. We're pretty busy, and we've stayed pretty busy. It seems like the citizens of Knox County are showing us a lot of love right now.
So I want to talk about the idea of this place, the vibe as you walk into this place. This feels, and I don't think this is an accident, this feels like when you walk in the front door that you're at like a real cool buddy's house, and it's like a living room rather than a brewery. Like a lot of places have like that really cool like industrial thing going on, and that works. Like it totally works.
It totally works.
But,
it's beautiful.
But here the vibe is really more like you just want to sit and play cards.
Yep, that's exact. So here's the deal. When we were in Austin, what we did was about culture and social change. That's what we did. That's what we wanted to inspire. Throughout history, sometimes we have cultural and historical amnesia, but throughout history, beer has always been used for cultural and social change.
Right.
It has throughout the world, right? And a lot of that change, if you look historically, has happened in the beer halls of Germany, the pubs of Ireland and England, the early colonial taverns here in the U.S.
Right. If we didn't have taverns, we wouldn't have a country.
We wouldn't
that's
have
where
a country.
That's where they hammered out all the good ideas.
Or in living rooms.
Right.
They start there. The good ideas start there.
Right.
And so there are two things that we said that we wanted to do. Was one, when people walked in here, we wanted them to feel like they were walking into our living room, right? We wanted them to feel like they're at home. We did not want them to feel like they were walking into a bar.
Right.
The other thing it was the economic situation of Illinois that actually attracted us to stay. Right? We believe in the power of local economy. And so everything we do, we try to do as local as we can, even if it costs us more. Our grains come from a farming co-op. Our hops are grown right here in Illinois. The beer that's in right here has a yeast from Chicago.
Right.
Our tap handles, our flight boards, all of them are made by local woodworkers instead of outsourced to China.
Right.
And so
these Psycho brews we're standing behind.
Yeah.
These are made in Michigan.
Michigan.
You could have saved an awful lot of money getting a system out of China, right?
We could have saved a lot of money getting a system out of China, but that doesn't put the money right back here in the Midwest, which is where it needs to be.
Right.
And so if we make a little bit less, but we can keep the economy going, or be another voice in the economy here, then everybody wins. And that's what we wanted to be.
That sounds fantastic.
So for us, beer is a conduit of social and economic change.
So, I mean, you guys you have a mission in mind. Like, there's a real purpose behind what you're trying to do here.
We absolutely
Can I ask you about your background as a brewer? Because we talked about your work in Austin.
Yep.
When did you fall in love with making beer?
So this whole journey started with, we started our first social enterprise, and we went out for a celebratory dinner, and I'm sitting across from my best friend, and he says to me, he goes, "Can I buy you a beer?" And the words that came out of my mouth were, "I don't like beer."
Uh-huh.
And he said, well, "What do you mean you don't like beer? That's like saying you don't like food."
Right.
He was like, "There's so many different styles," and I only had known a few. And so he asked me this litany of questions. What kind of wine do you like? What kind of coffee you like? So on and so on. And he said, "Now can I order you a beer?" And he did. And I drank it, and I could not believe that was beer.
Right.
It literally opened a doorway. And so Sarah and I, every time that we vacationed, we looked for these things called craft breweries.
Right.
So not only did we pick up on the flavor of beer, but we picked on the culture of craft beer. Right?
I imagine all the time you spent in Austin, there's a couple there that you
enjoy.
enjoy.
And so that was the evolution. We have several friends who have some pretty big breweries down in Austin. And so we got to, even though we weren't the brewers, we weren't the owners, we got to grow up around them.
Right on.
Right? That's kind of how our lives were formed in Austin. And so we got to know the scene well. And you get in the scene long enough, you're going to start home brewing. And like, so my story as far as that part is not unlike very many other stories. We started home brewing, and it resulted in, I think we can create some social good doing something we love to do.
So you're saving the world one glass at a time.
One glass at a time.
That's probably a little too broad to say that you're saving the world.
So
and you're really not even interested in saving the world. You're interested in saving, Galesburg, making Galesburg a better place.
So our slogan is this.
From there, yeah.
Our slogan is this: drink good beer, do good work.
Right.
Right. We don't have a specific style we're after. We're after flavor. We want people to come in and say that beer's kind of watered down. We want flavor.
Okay, so this is your IPA. What can you tell me about this beer?
So the Trivium IPA. Trivium IPA, right? All the grains come from a farming co-op out of North Dakota. It's very piney in nature, but our hops come from 3 different, here in central Illinois. They come from Sharp Mountain hops and hallowed hops.
Okay.
And then the Simcoe hop you can't get around here, and I needed the Simcoe hop for the piney, so we went to the Pacific Northwest to get that. But pretty much outside of the Simcoe, everything about the Trivium is right here in Illinois.
I don't know if it's because the first beer I've had in 32 days. The mouthfeel on this is amazing.
We tried to balance the malt with the bitter.
Yeah.
Right, to just kind of blend them together.
Matthew, it feels so good.
Good.
You've made me so happy.
I'm glad I could be your introduction back into the world of beer this year.
You're doing good work.
Thank you.
And making good beer. Matthew, what a pleasure it was to meet you. What a great space this is. Again, it's in Galesburg, just on the outside of it. The Knox County Brewing Company. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. See what I did there?
Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Cheers.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.